Right, okay, now you've done the navigation macro, it's time to put that to use in some forms, okay? I've got a completed database here which was done a good few years ago, but it's a nice example of the use of forms. You can see there's quite a lot in here. You wouldn't have to make all these forms. It was a student made this for a primary school, okay? So let's have a look. Let me do this. So this is a form. Okay, this is a better way or a nicer way. You can see this is a pretty complicated form. There's a lot of information in it. Okay, don't worry, yours won't be like this. But there's a lot of information, and it's a nicer way. It's a better user interface than a table. Okay, so essentially we're going to be turning our tables into forms. 3 forms are needed. One for your customers. Okay, one for your stock and another for your order. This tutorial is going to show you how to make what we call your basic forms, which are just based on one table. And your basic forms are your customer and stock form. Okay, and on those forms you're going to format them and arrange them into your house style. So the colors, the fonts, everything else that you decide for your system, and you'll arrange them into that, and you'll add a suite of buttons as well on them. So that's what a form looks like. I mean, I can open up a few others. You can see there's another one here. These to add teacher details. There's a tracking form here. This is what they call a form with a subform. Okay, so you've got the top part here, and you've got some information about this subject, your pupil information on there for tracking. Okay, form with subform. That's an advanced form, and we'll look at that in another tutorial. So I'm going to close this down now. You can see what forms are like. If you've done GCSE IT, we did them in GCSE IT as well, these ones, and they still do them. So not too complicated. So go back to our particular one here, which I had open before, the navigation macro and how we make forms. Please take note of this advice, or you're going to cause yourself some work. For the evidence in the implementation, the screenshots, you have to show the development of the form, how you've made it, not just the complete finished product. So we need how it starts and then how it finishes. So it's important to take a screenshot and paste it in after the first part I show you here. If you don't do this, you have to redo it at the end, because when I come to marking it, I won't give you the mark for it. Okay, please make a note of that. It's not too difficult to just take a screenshot of something and paste it into your implementation Word document. In the implementation Word document, there are 2 headings in there for forms, one for customers and one for stock. Just pop it in there for now and save it, and you can come back and annotate it later. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to make a form and turn our customer table into a form. Like always, have objects closed before you use them. So up in the ribbons, we're in the create. There's a couple of different ways of doing this. I'm going to use the form wizard. Okay, I think you can go on these and you can go form design, and you can add things manually, which can be a bit of a fuss and a bit of a faff, to be honest. Up to you though, but I'm going to show you using the form wizard. So you can click form wizard, it opens up. You'll have a big list of all your tables and your queries, because you can make forms based on queries as well. We don't do that in this project, there's no marks for it. And I said I wanted to make one based on customers. So which fields do you want on your form? You can choose from more than one table or query. Well, we just want the customers, and we'll have them all across there. This is this straightforward. Top one we want, that's form view. We don't want to go back to data sheet. You can use justified, it kind of scatters them around. Tabular, not great. Columnar or justified is what I'd look for. You can have a go, you can explore which ones you like, because you can always delete the one that you don't want. And it should come up with a decent name for you, and you can click finish there. Okay, so there we are, that's how our form started. That's in normal view. You can go up to the top left button, design view, take screenshots of that, because that shows how the form started, and you're then going to develop it to match your house style. Okay. If you want some inspiration for making forms and you don't like these kinds of things, if you go onto Google and you type in Google image search, professionally designed Microsoft Access forms or even Microsoft Access forms, you'll see some really good examples there that might give you some ideas. Alright, so let's have a look at this and how we can improve it. Well, to start with, on some of these I'm going to split these up. Okay, see, email address, there's no space in it. The labels should look decent. So I'm right clicking, going to design view. You can do that up here as well. So you've got your form header, you've got header information, and you've got a form footer as well down there, which hasn't got anything in it at the moment. If you want to put something in the footer, you can drag down the grid. Okay, the grid outline is where the form will be created. I'm going to make some more space for it in the main part here. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you do things. It's a bit fiddly. It's not the most intuitive design, to be fair, forms in Access, but you just have to get used to it. So I'm just going to click in there and separate that out, so you can do that there, and I can have a look to see how it's working, and that's fine on that part there. So for example, I could split out these information here. Perhaps I could split out the username, the customer number, the title, forename, surname, and I might highlight them and do based just on those fields if I wanted to. So that's how it's marquee selection in Access. As long as you touch something, notice the date of birth now, it picks it up. You don't have to actually fully enclose it to select it. Okay, didn't quite hit the date of birth there, so it didn't pick it up. So for example, now I could go up to format, and I could make all that bold if I so choose. I've got different shadings I could use if I wanted that. If I want to do the labels differently, you can just drag down like that. So you have those there, and perhaps I'll change the labels. So I don't want those to be shaded like that. I can change the font. The format menu is where you're looking at these things, okay? And there, if I just wanted to change those parts there, you do the labels independently of them, okay? So just be a little bit mindful of that. There's your regular formatting stuff up there that you can use. Do not change, okay, the field names. Watch what happens if I show you the proper view. Okay, works fine. Customer number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I go to design view now, and this is what students do, instead of changing the label, they change the name in there. And you're going to go back here. Now Access has no idea what customer space number is because it's not a field name. Do not change the fields. You change the labels. You can make the labels whatever you so wish. Okay, you do not need to change these, and if you do, you're going to have a problem. So I'm going to go back in there, okay, and I'm going to put that back to the normal, and with a bit of luck, there we go, we've got that back there. Okay, so that's how you move and you manipulate. You remember on the last one we had things separated out. You might want to separate out things like address. You might want to pop the address over here, so it's not all going down the side. So you've got the customer number, details, sort of the name and date of birth, the address over here, and then you've got some other information about them there. There's the email and password, or you might want to put the phone number, email and password together there. You can move things, you can nudge things. I'm using the space, I'm using the arrow keys to nudge the stuff around. Make sure everything fits, that everything can be seen in there. You might have your email address. So if you want to have a longer email address, you have to expand that out there, if that's what you want to do. You can have a little explore up in and around here if you wanted to. In the format, you can always undo things. You've got a shape outline, so if you want things to be sort of transparent, if you don't want lines on it, line thickness or thicker lines, you've got all these. I can't go through them all for you here now, but they're all there for you to have a go and do those kinds of things with. Try to avoid using pictures too much. It slows it down a little bit, okay? The school system's there's no marks really. I would avoid using. You could possibly put a logo of the business up in here, that's not a problem, but complicated watermarks and things like that, don't do that. Background colours, if you want some slight shading on these things here, right click, fill back colour over here. They're all there for you to use on that part there. So that's moving around and altering these things, okay? What about adding information? If you want to add labels, and this is where it goes really wrong. If you look and you hover over the tools up here, it says text box. You think, oh, okay, text box, that's what I would use on all of their software. That's not a label in Access. A text box is used to do some calculations on. We will look at doing that, okay? So don't use those for labels. You use label, okay? Use labels there. So you can drag and you can type your own and it makes a label there for you, for example, okay? I don't want that particular label, so I'm going to get rid of that for now. So that's label. What we do need, and why we used the navigation macro before, is buttons, which are here. If it's slightly different in the version of Access you're using, in the ribbon you'll come across, and they might have different looking icons, they update these things. Just hover and it says button when you hover over it. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to draw. Now this is vital, this is where it goes wrong. We're not allowed to use, sadly, button wizards for marks, so we're going to have to cancel that. Okay, so let's pretend this button is going to be, I don't know, delete record. I'm going to use, for this one I'm using words on the button. There's two options, I'll show them to you in a second. So at the moment I've just drawn that button. It's a button but it has nothing attached to it because I haven't given it any properties. I need to attach the macro that we made to that button. Okay, so this is the process that we do. We select the button and we need the properties open. If they're not open, you can click the button over here for it, or you can right click properties over that as well. There's a number of ways. In the properties there are loads. Don't go changing the name. It can often cause problems. Leave it as command 30, it doesn't really matter. What we're looking for is the event tab in the properties, and you've got all these different events that will happen when you do something. We want something to happen when we click the mouse. When we click the button with the mouse. So on click here. If you've made a macro, it knows, and you've got them all down in here. Okay. Now it is a little bit irritating the way this sort of works sometimes. Okay. You can't quite see in the drop down menu. So what you need to do is either go back and remember what you did, and I'm trying to remember when I did delete, might have been there, can't really remember now, is a bit of a problem when it's at the side. What you could do, because I'm using a screen capture, I'll try this now, is you're going to have to minimize and try and drag out that side there, but it's a real sort of a little bit of a flaw within the system. You can zoom, but as you see, you think zoom would work and you can't do it. So it's a bit of a problem. You need to know which one these navigation macros are. I'm going to go with that one there for now. Right, and see if that actually is the one that works. There we go, you can scroll across. I knew there was something you could do that I remember. So I'm on previous record, so that's no good. Let's have a go. Print record. Let's try this one. It could take a while, this, couldn't it? Save record. Not very much luck here. Let's try that one. New record. I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll make that one new record, okay? And well, I'm going to go down here and change that to new record. That was one way of getting out of these things. Okay, so it's a little bit of a pain, it's a little bit of a flaw, but unfortunately you're going to have to be patient putting these in. Okay, so we've got a new record there, and you can always go to the macro in the bottom left here, right click it, design view, and have a look at, you know, the order you did them in. So it's the one from bottom, delete record on mine. Okay, on there. So you can do that as well. So it's not really a problem. It's not too much of a problem. It's just a bit of a fuss. Okay, and so you add that to it there, and you've got new record, and you click on this, and you click new, and it does new record. Okay, so all you need to do is make all the buttons across there and attach the macros for them all. They're on there. Remember, the list is on Edmodo. You can do those. You repeat this process for the stock table as well, and you can copy and paste the buttons in. Good luck. Any questions, message me on Edmodo.